Hi there, everyone. The purpose of this video is just to briefly discuss how to successfully record your lessons or your teaching. It's really important to do it. I know you may not be thrilled about putting yourself on film, but it's great for a couple reasons. One, for those of you taking the EdTPA or completing the EdTPA, it is a requirement. And the last thing you need is to be dealing with how to use the technology when you're student teaching, right? So it's good to practice with camcorders and tripods and memory cards and all that stuff way before, so you can just focus on being a student teacher. Two, it's very valuable for professional reflection to watch yourself on film. You will notice, as unpleasant as it is, that you do things with your hands, or you have vocal fillers, or maybe you don't speak loud enough, or you're not catching some behaviors that you should be seeing, all sorts of things. And seeing that on film can kind of be an enlightenment, like, I do that? Oh my goodness, right? Even if it is unpleasant, it's good for you professionally, okay? So set those two reasons aside. We all agree that, yes, as uncomfortable as it may be, recording yourself is important, okay? So we have lots of ways to do that, lots of ways to record a lesson. I know many of you have mobile devices, iPads, cell phones, so I get that those things may be handy for you to use. However, you need to be able to put them on a tripod and get the film off the device easily. And you may not be able to do that. Some people really struggle getting film off an iPad. iPads also don't have external mics. So if you're not a real loud speaker or you position the iPad too far away, it doesn't capture audio nearly as effectively as, say, a real digital camcorder. We in the School of Ed do not have any tripods for mobile devices, so you're really on your own. Last night, just as an experiment, I tried to record myself teaching with my iPad using the stand that I purchased, just a normal stand that you would use to prop up for typing or reading. It didn't work. It was terrible. I tried to modify it by using some jars of paint to prop it up, and I ended up having to throw the whole lesson, the whole video away. Not one piece of it would have worked if I had been in your shoes. So, with that being said, as much as I am a mobile device fanatic, it's not good for video recording, unless you already have the skills to be able to edit and get video off your device. Okay, so with that being said, you need to consider a digital camcorder. Okay, we have plenty of them on campus in media tech services. So you can go over to 8th floor in the tower. However, don't show up without a permission slip. If you go to UW Platteville's website and do a search for media tech services, eventually you will find the checkout form that all students need to produce. But here's the kicker. You have to have your instructor sign the form. So do not go get your camcorder equipment thinking that you'll pick it up the day before, because you have to have an instructor sign your sheet of paper. So make sure that you get that printed out ahead of time and have your instructor sign it, or maybe they already have it. Whatever it is, make those communications, those connections well in advance. Once you get your material, they're going to give you a kit that looks similar to this, okay? And hopefully they will give you a really nice tripod. These tripod kits, these Pearsons, are definitely the best ones I've ever seen. And so set your camcorder up ahead of time. In the classroom specifically, I would set it up maybe 2 days ahead of time to desensitize the students. If you set it up the day you want to record, you're going to have, say, I'm picturing the 8th grade class I used to teach. They will be turning around, waving in front of it, totally distracted and focused on that camera and not so much you. So put it up early so they get used to seeing it, right? Now, in your kit, you will have a few things. One, the camcorder, okay? They're usually, nowadays, they're so little and perfect. You do need to know where to put the memory stick. Okay, in this particular one, it's in the bottom. And the other one, button we'll cover in just a little bit, the other port. You also have a clip. If you don't have this, you're going to have a problem. If you can't find it in the kit, it might still be on the tripod. This piece here screws into the bottom of the camcorder, and this end snaps into the tripod. You do want to play with this ahead of time. Comically, I struggled doing this, getting this piece fastened onto the tripod in front of some students, and pinched my finger in the process. So you have to make sure that you practice ahead of time. Also in your kit, you will find my favorite piece, remote microphones, right? It's hard to find these. I was so happy to see that we have purchased those for our kits. Hopefully MediaTek purchases them for every kit. So here's how you use this. There are some little ports here that you can kind of ignore, but there are some buttons that you cannot, right? Obviously the power button makes sense to me, okay? The channel button, actually I should turn it this way, the channel button is essential that you pay attention to. There are 3 channels on this device. You need to have it on any one of the channels, but the essential piece is the channels need to match up. So there's 2 ends to this system. Okay, this end clips to the camcorder, this end you wear. If they are not on the same channel, you will not get audio. So I'm going to turn these both on and turn both of them to channel 1. If I have this one on 3 and this one on 1, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to record the most amazing lesson. It's going to be epic. And there will be no audio because I didn't match up the channels. So make sure your channels match up, 1 and 1. Okay, we're good. Okay. Now, what to do with these pieces. So, this piece, okay, this end that does not have the lapel mic, gets plugged into your camcorder. Okay. The camcorder, there is a clearly designated port marked mic, plug in power. Okay. We're good to go. Now, people say, okay, where do you rest this when it's on the tripod? You have to figure it out. Really, you probably can clip it right to the handle, and that'll suffice. And it just rests there. The other thing you want to check is to make sure that there are indeed batteries inside and that you have a backup plan if these batteries die. It has happened. You don't get a warning beep or anything like that. You just lose sound. So you do want to make sure that you have batteries in your kit. Hopefully they came with the spare set. This one did. If you didn't get batteries, either contact Media Services or just grab your own out of your own remote, as I have done before teaching. So we've got this hooked up. I'm going to clip this to there so it kind of looks like this. I'm ready to go. It's good enough. It's not ideal, but it'll work. Okay. Now this other end, okay, this messy, undo the cord. This one's all tangled. And you have to figure out where to clip it. Again, it's the channels match. Okay. Now you may clip it to your lapel, or I'm sorry, your neck here, or a collar. Okay. Now this piece gets clipped to you somewhere. Now, if you're wearing pants that day, clipping it to the belt in the back would be perfect. I'm wearing a dress, so I have a problem. I'll have to figure something out. But this part gets clipped to you. Again, I'll say it again. Check the batteries. Check the batteries. And check the channel and make sure it matches the other end. Now, I would desensitize the kids to this too. The first time I would wear this in the classroom, their level of communication changed some. Actually, for the most part, they became a lot more shy, I think, because they knew that they were being recorded. So if I had worn it several times ahead of the day, I would have been fine. So, but on the other hand, depending on the class, if you have, I can see some children trying to speak into it, like extra obnoxious. So, just desensitize them and get your material ahead of time. Okay, so the other pieces in the kit really are just, power cords. Okay, I wouldn't rely on the battery on your camcorder. Who knows how much it's been charged? I assume it hasn't been. So, plug it in, or charge it a full charge ahead of time. Take that responsibility. Do not show up without a charged battery. There's also extra mic batteries and camcorder batteries in here. So, again, rely on plugging everything in. Now, the tripod is pretty standard. I'm not going to open it up, but you do want to work with it ahead of time just so you can get the right placement. Where you want to put your camcorder will be really important, and sometimes you don't have enough room, so you have to think, okay, I'll shorten the tripod and set it on the table, or you can't get it level, and you may want to think about setting it off to the side because they're going to want to see you teaching, your students engaging with you, and you giving them feedback. Those 3 phases are really important. So maybe off to the front, the side, but towards the front so we can see students and you teaching. If your cooperating teacher or a friend is willing to pan the room, that is okay. All right, so have someone, if you walk to a different part of the room that isn't in the view, it is perfectly okay to have someone pan and follow you. Okay. Again, you're going to want to set that up ahead of time so you can figure out where, if there's an awkward path. The classroom I was in last night, I was trying to set up the tripod just to show them what it's like. And I realized that there is no good place to put this tripod on the floor. I was hitting legs of chairs and tables, and so my solution then would have been to shorten every leg on the tripod and set it on the table. Okay, but you're going to want to find that answer out long before you actually video record. The other thing I would consider is taping cords down if you fear that your extension cords cross over a path where you have a student walking, traffic, right? You wouldn't want them to trip. So be thinking of that too, like safety issues. And of course, when you're student teaching, be well aware of any students that their parents have opted out that they don't want their students on film. Okay, make sure you've checked that and there's no possible way you would make a mistake. Now, you're not done yet with getting equipment. You also need memory for the camcorder. Okay, these don't have a big enough memory to really store video, lesson video. So you can go to the School of Ed, okay, down right when you walk in the door, School of Ed office, and we have memory sticks, or SD cards, as you know them as. So they, you've seen these before, right? Okay, now if you're lucky, you can just take this out of the camcorder and pop it to your computer, and you're good. So the discs, depending on the camcorder media tech services give you, you kind of have to hunt for it, but it's marked SD. On this one, it's on the bottom, okay, of the device. And they come with this little case. You'll pop that in there before you record on your data, your information, your video goes to the micro SD, or I'm sorry, the SD card. The micros are the little guys that are in your cell phones. Now, getting this off the machine or off the camcorder, off the SD card is important. You will put it into, for me, in my home, I can pop this into my laptop. So check your laptop to see, can you easily just, is there a slot for this? Most new laptops do have a slot for this. So you should be okay. But if you're not, we do have a system for that too. The School of Ed has purchased card readers. So when you go into the School of Ed to ask for your memory card, your SD card, you may also ask for the memory card reader if your laptop doesn't have a way to read this. Okay, the memory card reader looks like this. The USB-N plugs into your computer, your laptop, your desktop, whatever it is. This end plugs into the memory card reader right there. And the memory card reader on the other side does a great job of reading just about everything you may have. So we're talking your SD cards and also your micros, the little cell phone micro cards. So pretty much anything you have is going to be able to be read by this device. Actually, some of the other things I don't even think you would have. You wouldn't purchase other ones. Usually it's the SD card or micro. Okay. So again, when you go to Media Tech Services, you're going to pick up a tripod and a camcorder bag. Okay, but you need storage for the device. That you can pick up from School of Ed, and you will get these two pieces. Now, personally, if I were in your shoes, I would just go out and buy one so you have it. These things, now they come, this is 32 gig, which cracks me up because it's a ton of space. And you could use it for a long time. So as long as it's, more than, I would say, 12 gig or more than 8 gig, you'll be able to use it for a really long time. So maybe just consider asking one for Christmas or a holiday or your birthday, or just go out and buy one from Walmart. Okay. All right, so we've got that covered. Now, getting your video off, you already know, you take your SD card, plug it into your laptop, or if you don't have that ability, you put the SD card in this device and plug this into your laptop. Now, editing your video, you really don't get to do much, so that's a good thing, right? Less to do. You have to leave your clips as they are, so just a 10 to 15 minute clip, whatever your EdTPA or handbook or instructor tells you to do is what you would follow. No editing, no taking out any weird mannerisms. When I edit out video, I take out all my so's. I say so all the time. You don't get to do any of that. It needs to stay as is. And again, you're looking for a clip that, well, your handbook will specify what they're looking for. So as always, check your handbook for specific requirements of the clips you select. But, really they're looking for you teaching and engaging with students and them responding back to you and you giving them feedback, that type of teaching. As far as, people ask, how much footage should I record? I would record a lot. a lot of footage, so you have tons to pick from. If you can record, if it's 180 minutes, so what? That you will find your segment that you need in that time period. Okay, so record a lot. Software to edit with, I recommend going the easy route and using Windows Movie Maker. We do have some handouts that I'll share with you. Windows Movie Maker is usually default on most PCs. You do want to check ahead of time. I noticed on my work computer I didn't have it. I had to request it. So see if you can find Windows Movie Maker. You would also have, if any of you are Mac people, iMovie would work as well. There are free services online as well. I noticed Google has a product, Google Chrome extension has a product called WeVideo. It's okay. It might suffice. But my solution would be to start with Windows Movie Maker first, and number 2, Apple iMovie. Okay, so those are your 2 solutions. When you save your videos, you want both of them to be exported as an MP4. Okay, so MP4. And that will usually be small enough to upload to TaskStream. When you're doing the EdTPA, we house our data in TaskStream. So the sooner you can get the hang of that, that would be less difficult, less painful for you in your student teaching. Same thing, I've never tried to upload any videos to D2L as a student, so you'll have to see what your threshold is. If you're doing this for an instructor, you could also just consider uploading it to Google Drive and sharing the file with them that way. Either way, however you choose to do it, make sure you communicate that intention with your instructor beforehand. Alright, so I think I've covered everything I need to. You go to, first of all, you get a permission slip. You go to MediaTek Services and you get the camcorder kit complete with the device, the clip for the tripod, and the mic setup. And then you go to School of Ed to get the memory and the reader for your device. And again, consider purchasing it ahead of time. Desensitize your students to the tripod and the camcorder, set it up very early, let them get over the weirdness of having the camera, and record lots of footage. Pop out your SD card, pop it into your laptop or reader, install or import it into Movie Maker or iMovie, and save it as an MP4. If you have any questions about this process, please feel free to contact me or someone in Media Services to help you out. Good luck.